chapter. A monk meditates and thinks under a tree. He was never disturbed. He meditated deeply. However, a young man joined him, but was unable to focus due to the sound of the flowing river. Here we see that in order to meditate, one needs a strong desire to meditate. One must have a purity of heart, and this will lead to keep external as well as internal silence. That means within your mind and in the body also. There are two types of silence. One is meditative silence, other one is genuine silence. Under meditative silence, it is actually the encounter with God, where we find an example of Saint Chaura who says, God is waiting to embrace you in silence and solitude. Here, if the surrounding is silent and you are alone, God is ready to hold you. God is ready to call you. Whereas genuine silence is, wise person will remain silent till the acceptable time comes. That means there has to have a time, and suddenly after the time, he will start speaking up. We see many great people like Mahatma Gandhi who pray in silence and who stayed in silence. Mahatma Gandhi used to stay in silence on Mondays. He never spoke out, and he wrote in a piece of paper if he wanted to communicate. So on that particular day, he never took appointments. He just read, he prayed, and he finished all his pending works. Thus, the idea of non-violence developed because of silence. There are two types of silence, internal silence and external silence. Internal silence is silence within the heart where you have peace of mind. External silence is outside your body where you show peace and serenity and less movement. She also says, sweet are those who can hear the music of silence. That means you need to concentrate, focus, and listen to the music of silence. Here you have to hear it. Another great writer who wrote Gitanjali is Rabindranath Tagore. He has mentioned in Gitanjali about the noble thoughts that becomes the fruit of silence. In this he explains how to develop and concentrate that will help to become the peace of mind. We also see Sir Isaac Newton, the great scientist of the era, has invented many things because of high concentration power and because of his patience and also his silence. And he says, if you have understood the silence, one person can also understand the words. Thus, he has specifically said, in order to get success, one must start concentrating. Henry Miller. According to him, silence helps to purify hearts and minds. That means, here he says, I need to be alone. He says, whenever you are alone, you have to ponder, you have to think. And here he says, ponder my shame. That means whatever mistakes I have done. And my despair. That means whatever desire, whatever want he had in seclusion, That means in loneliness. I need the sunshine and the paving stone of the streets without companions. That means there has to have a sunlight, there have to have a path, and even if there are no friends, yet without talking, without conversation, he has to talk face to face with himself, and then only he will get a very good company of himself, and once he listens to the music of his heart, he himself can become a very good friend. Lastly, there are two more great leaders. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, in his letters to his beloved daughter, he mentions that there should be nothing in her life which she wants to hide. That means a person has to tell everything, a person has to speak out everything. You must be child of light. Only those who are bold and courageous can walk in light. That means if you are a child of light, you have to carry this light and enlighten others through knowledge, through courage, through your behavior, through your attitude, through various ways and means. And only then you can be bold and courageous if you're walking in light. Lastly, Bertrand Russell was a British philosopher who says you have to recognize the voice of silence, then only you can move ahead and be successful in life. To wind up the session, here we see silence is very powerful. If anybody is silent, we sometimes fear to talk to them, and we sometimes believe that something is going on in their mind. Now, in order to achieve success in life, we need to focus and we need to concentrate. We need to have a goal. And in silence only we can think and concentrate and achieve our goals. This can be done only when we keep our mind pure. That means impure thought should not come in our mind. So that, lastly, we can say that we can easily practice silence. Thank you, children.